Good morning to all of you. Thank you to stay here. Some of you again, another ones maybe the first time, I don't know. Who was yesterday here? You? Well, okay. We have an exam for all of you guys, a test, so be ready. Did you bring your model? I told you yesterday, no? Oh my God, very lazy guys. Okay. For the rest of the people who was not there yesterday, my name is Mig Jimenez. I am coming from Spain. Today I wanted to make the second part of a wallet process that I started yesterday. Because the process was so long, I decided to make in two stages, in two parts. One was yesterday, where we make the beginning of how to make a burnout KV turret, to make the burnout effects. We started with the base color, the washes, streaking, chipping. I made all of that very fast, just because I wanted to show to the people that was able to come yesterday, but was not able to come today. I tried to do more things that I expected, just for them. No? So today I will make just the final touches of the turret. But if you don't mind, especially guys that you were yesterday here, I will try to explain very quick what we made yesterday, just for all of you. Well, those are techniques mainly to make something in burnout aspect, like this King Tiger that I am working on. It is not finished yet, but what we are trying to do is something like that. Yesterday we started painting this little turret for a KV1. First we painted the base color in two tones, one green and the other in a kind of tan color, using a special mask that is was this that is perfect to make the hard edge camouflage. But anyway, you can make the hard edge in different ways. You can make using adhesive mask or painting by brush. For example, the hard edge camouflage in that tank was everything made by hand. No mask, no eyebrows, nothing. Just everything painted by hand. Trying to follow how the Germans painted the tanks in the last days of the war. Anyway, the most important is to learn how to paint something and how to make it attractive, and especially how to make it in a very fast way. Almost all technique that I have developed during the years is technique for people who don't want to spend too much time painting at home, or because you haven't enough time, you need to share your life with your wife also, or your children's, or because you are all day working, or because you are lazy and you want to go to see football or any other thing. No? So for people who haven't enough time, those techniques are very attractive because you can do something attractive, you can achieve something attractive in a really short time. And sometimes that is the most important. Because we cannot spend 1 year for one model, stay working during one model a lot of time to achieve something. So the evolution in the modeling came when you paint very fast, when you do many things. So my first advice is try to make as much models as possible. Try to do a lot. Doesn't matter if the final result is good enough, average, or you can improve more. Doesn't matter. The most important is to do more with non-stop. Especially if you want to improve yourself. Of course, if you want to construct something in scratch and you want to spend 2 years and finally Trumpeter release the same model, is your fault. Okay, I respect to everybody. But I think that most of you want to enjoy. Just to do something, finish, hey, I finished, very nice. Okay, go for another model. No? So those techniques are especially designed for that. Yesterday, we make the basic things, the washes, a little streaking, in a very quick way, and we moved forward to see the burnout effects, how to start. When we make burnout tanks, we can make in two ways. We can make making the rusty tones in the first stage. Second, make the colors that are over and make the scratches and all effects. Or we can make in the opposite way. First, paint the colors of the tanks, the camouflage and the other effects. And second, make the burnout effects. There are a big difference between rusty tanks and burnout tanks. A big difference. A burnout tank can be also rusted or not. But a rusty tank is always rusty and not necessarily show smoke effects or ashes or something like that. In that case, what we are doing is a burnout tank. Maybe it was burned out a few days ago. And how we can distinguish, where we can see the difference between a burnout tank or a rusty one. The first thing that we can see is the remains of the smoke provoked by the combustion of the internal stuff, no? The ammunition, the fuel, but also the same paint over the tank also is flammable. Also can be combustible. Okay. I will ask you for the right pronunciation. The first thing that we can see is that the smoke areas appear in the surface in a very random way. Some people, when they want to make something burn out, they just spray in the end a black color. Okay, now it's smoke and my model is finished. No. The smoke appear in the surface in a very random ways, very strange ways. For example, now see the other side that is totally different. Oh, or focus. Okay. Now you can see here all of those strange effects, and those effects appear in almost all burnout vehicles in general. Doesn't matter if you want to make a plane or a tank or a truck or a civil vehicle, doesn't matter. We must try to observe real photos and we must try to copy what we see in the photos. So right now we are in the previous stage of the smoke. We are working in the rusty areas. We are making different layers like in Photoshop. Maybe all of you know the Photoshop program, and in the Photoshop you can work with different layers. You can make transparencies, you can make many effects that overlap over the previous layers. When we are making modeling, we must work in the same way, but not only in the burnout vehicles, also in all kind of vehicles. When we are making an operative tank or vehicle, we must work the washes, the filters, the streaking, everything in overlapped layers. This is the best way to work the models because we will achieve a special feeling. Our model will have a deepness, will be more rich about the tones and about the colors in the surface. But the most important is that all layers must work together. And we must avoid to exaggerate too much one layer because the people will discover the trick. No? You will, hey, what you made there? It's a bit strange. No? It's the same that with the modulation style that many people know that. For example, that turret was painted in modulation for another demonstration. This is just the base color. But when we work with the modulation, we must try to avoid that the people see that we used modulation. Because if someone see the trick, the people will be disappointed. It's like when you go to the cinema and you see a movie. Do you remember any bad movie recently where appeared the microphone on the screen? If you are very excited watching the movie, now the guy will kill to the girl, and in that moment appear the microphone. Oh, you say, oh my God, okay. The movie is totally ruined. You don't believe it anymore. That happened because we see the trick. And when we see the trick, we doesn't like it. So we want to be involved in a kind of fantasy. If we go to see a Star Wars movie, we know that it's absolutely fantasy, but we enjoy it and we believe it and we want to be inside. is because we cannot see the tricks. The modeling is exactly the same. If we do everything in a balanced way, everything in our harmony, and we cannot see if the guy painted the chipping with brush or with chipping fluid or hairspray, or if we don't see where he was painting with the airbrush, or if we don't see the tricks, we will believe it and the people will like it and we will be successful making our models. So don't forget that. This is why we must try to be careful with each layer of the process. So, okay, one more. Yesterday, we just started making, I will take my place now. Here we started with the first steps. After the turret was painted in the base color, we sprayed with our eyebrush a couple of rust tones, a light one, use it in the central areas of the turret, and another one a bit more dark, use it in the more external areas. For example, here.
¿Puedes enfocar un poco más?
Sí. We used the dark one here, and the light one in the center. Okay, that was the first step. After that, I used another two rust tones, totally different ones. One that was very, very light, and another one very dark. And those ones was used to make a kind of micro chipping. That is a kind of small dots that you will see now. Oops. Okay, you can see all of those small dots. One of those are made in light color, and another ones in dark color. Okay, you can see here much better. That was the second step. And the next step was a kind of mapping that is those strain shapes or forms in a very random way. For example, here I paint here and in that place, but in the other side I made something totally different, trying to be random and different in both sides. That is another important thing that you must keep in mind when you are making your models. In everything you make, you must be random and asymmetric. Don't do the same in one side and in the other. Don't repeat the same effects. Don't make the matte or the dust in the same way in both sides. Even try to change the colors, try to make different things, because the real things, when you see tanks outside, or every day you can see tanks in the center of the city, or in the battlefield. No, but if you see even a hydraulic excavator, front end loader, a truck, or any other vehicle, you will see how one side is totally different to the other, or something strange happening in the wheels that the frontal wheel haven't. So the random must be the most important thing that we must put in our brain for everything that we make, related with the nature. Okay? And also the asymmetry. So if in one side you do something, don't repeat in the same way in the other side. Here I have a good example, I hope. And we will see what happened. No? Here I made the fenders in one way. All of those are green. Those ones have even a different color than the turret, trying to do different things. If we see the frontal, I made a green fender here, and that one in some color with a lot of chipping. So both are, again, totally different. Or even the headlights, you can see here that I make the cover, and here was missing the cover for the headlights. And finally, the other side is totally different one more time. As you can see, all of that area is working in a different way than the other side. So my model have something different in every places. So the people can enjoy watching around. Again, that fender is different than this one. Treated in different way. If we apply that concept in our models, we will find it that the people will like more our models. Especially when you go to a model show and you want to search your model, you will see that the people turn around your model, they want to see, and they stop in the other side because they find something different. So stay thinking all the time about what to do different in the other side. Don't repeat the same effects, don't repeat the same stopwatch, the same accessories. Try to change absolutely everything. So okay, going back to our turret. Well, we made the mapping, and now we need to make a kind of rust effects. Yesterday I started doing those effects using some rust colors, streaking rust, and now I will use light rust was. But I will continue making the other side and the top of the turret, working with those colors. So we are in that moment. So let's go to work. Okay. What I recommend you always is to put a little quantity of your product in a special recipient to avoid accidents. Okay.
So you're mixing a wash with strain effect liquid?
Yes, I am using a wash color to make some effects and streaking rust to make another effects. You will see now how I go for it. We will start making different shapes of rust. Now it's not necessary to make lines like we made in the streaking process. First we will paint different areas. And now we will blend it.
Do you use water?
No, enamel thinner, odorless thinner I am using. The product that I am using are enamel based, and this is why we need to use the appropriate thinner for that. If we use a very strong thinner, maybe we will damage the surface. I am using that one that is odorless, okay, that is very soft, and it will help me to blend the color without damaging the base color. Okay, as you can see, I don't try to blend absolutely everything. I try to leave some shapes or effects, trying to be random, but this is only the first layer. We need to stay working. For example, here I will paint around here to give volume to the ring. And now I blend it with clean thinner. But in the other side, maybe we can use a lighter tone, a lighter color. This is what I told you just 1 minute ago about to be random and to be different in one side and in the other. As you can see, it's very easy to blend it. If you do that with acrylic, it will be almost impossible because the acrylic dry very fast and it's impossible to blend it as soon as it is dried.
Question?
Yes?
Do you use a lighter color on one side and a darker on the other side in order also to get some kind of modulation effect that one side is more lighter than the other? Or is it just randomness, as you said?
You mean about the rust colors? Here I am not trying to make a kind of modulation. Here I just try to be random because the rusty effects and the burnout effects in a tank are totally random. Sometimes if you see a photo from Iraq for a T-55, for example, and you see what happened in the surfaces, you will find it that appear things that have no sense. For example, some shapes and effects or chipping or colors that you say, why that color? And maybe it's gray, maybe it's a kind of blue sometimes. So we can combine many colors. Of course, I am doing something based in my experience, seeing many photos of burnout vehicles. But of course, it's necessary to take inspiration, no? But when you see many photos, you will find that there is a kind of logic for the effects. But it's totally different to do a modulation of highlights. That side is darker than the other side that is lighter, just to create something random and asymmetric. For example, even here, we can paint that with the light tone, but this one we can paint it darker. Okay? Or, for example, another interesting thing, you can see here the periscope, and we can paint only the periscope a bit rusty, like this. Just the periscope, and now we will blend it. Okay. Now we are creating a nice contrast with the base of the periscope. And, for example, in the fan cover, we can do the opposite. We will paint here the rust color. And now we will blend it.
I've seen movies from you from old times that you used pigments. Why do you change from pigments to...
Later. Don't worry. Later we will use pigments.
No lo has pintado. Hay un lateral que no lo has
Sí, ahora voy. No, remember yesterday that you was there, that I said the techniques are just tools. If you are a mechanic of a car mechanic, you can repair the same engine probably in different ways, using different tools sometimes. Or depending the problem of the engine, you will use this tool or another one. So the same results can be achieved with different tools sometimes, or using all of them together in some cases. This is why I make emphasis in the point that a rusty tank is not a burnout tank. Both are different. If I want to make a burn out tank completely burn out, for example, let me show you here. One, you will see the difference. One second. I want to show you just one example if I find it. Yes. For example, that model. Okay. That model was not only burned out but also very rusty. Almost all vehicle is rusty, and in that model I used also pigments, I use oils, I use all kind of colors. No? But the surface here is bigger than in the Touareg. If we are making something really big, very rusty and damaged, we can combine it with pigments. Here I will use two to give just final touches, but in the end. Even I need to continue working the King Tiger that I bring like a sample that is not finished yet, and I need to use pigments also in that one. So okay, let's go with what we are doing now. Just to finish that area. But the most important is that you see that we can make variation in the colors as much as we want. For example.
Zoom in a little bit.
What?
Zoom in.
Ah, yes, of course. Yes, thank you for helping me. For example, here. And as you can see, I am covering parts of the mapping that I made yesterday.
This mapping, we want to hide it completely with another layer, or
No, no hide completely. We must let see through.
oh, it should. Yeah, we cover it with transparent layer, so it will kind of be visible.
Yes, exactly. This is why I put the example of the Photoshop. In the Photoshop you can make transparent layers and you see what is happening under the layer. Like here, I just painted over something like that, but now the color are changing thanks to the new layer of rust that I am applying. Okay? For example, here I paint a little and I blend it. Okay, as you can see, it's tedious. We need to stay working with all the tiles in each area, trying to do something different. But the final look will be very nice if we are patient.
Can you please remind which kind of paint we used for marking? Was it just acrylic or light paint which was diluted?
In what? Now?
Not now, the mapping we did with light white color.
The mapping. Yes, I used a light acrylic color.
That was acrylic color.
I used this one that you can see is a light color, a light sand color. Just
color, yeah.
Just to make the mapping. And must be very light because the next layers of rust will make it darker.
Yeah, but you also need the light to shining through a little bit, right?
What?
The light colors, the sand color, when you layer it, that light color will shine through, but in a different layer of brightness.
Exactly.
So layer after layer after layer.
Yes,
but
and you are modifying the initial.
And you don't even know what the end result will be because that depends how many more colors you.
No, you must expect. You must try to.
Yeah, you have a kind of.
You must anticipate what will happen. So this is why you choose a light color, no? Because when you start painting your model, you must know exactly what to do, or you will get lost, and many things, undecided things will happen. So now I am explaining you a way that I already tested by myself. But when you do for first time, you are a bit scared, no? Because you don't know what will happen, so you must test first in another place. Now, if you see that, you will understand a little better what is happening in the side of the turret. 1 second.
Have you used any oil colors to achieve that finish, or is it just enamels?
No, I am using just enamels for one reason. The oils need to dry much more time than the enamel.
Okay.
So for that, for those very subtle things, I can work faster with the enamels than with the oils.
Okay.
I can work in the same way, but those dry a little faster.
So I guess it works better when you do seminars like this.
What? Sorry?
It works better when you do seminars like this. Enamel.
Yes, also it's better. But in your home, you have oils and you like those colors, and you have more time. You can do it with oils also, of course, in the same way, but leaving to dry more time. Okay, so you can see how the turret is changing, especially in the top view.
Perdona, ¿esos laterales no los limpias?
¿Cuáles?
Te enseño con los dedos.
¿Cuál?
Los que pusiste lavado y no los has limpiado. Los primeros.
¿Aquí?
No, déjamelo.
¿Dónde? Ah, sí. Yes, thanks to Ellie that she know me very well. I forget to clean that area, to blend it. I almost painted, but I must make it a bit more transparent.
It's still workable.
Yes, after a few minutes it's still workable. This is the good thing. Not like the oil. Okay. And now a bit more work. For example, if in that corner I use a dark color, in the opposite one I will use a light one to create contrast. As you can see, the technique, in fact, is easy, but what is difficult is to keep the concentration over the wall surface to know what we are doing. I mean, if one side you are using dark tones, go to the other side and use light tones or colors, just to create more contrast. Okay? But but for example, now that you was talking about oils, let's go to use a little oils for different purpose. For example, here I have a kind of gray color. You cannot see well in the screen, but it's gray. It's a kind of dark gray. And we will do something different. Another random effect. I will prefer to use an enamel, but just to show you that you can use oils also. If the quantity is not too much, we can use it. For example, in the other side of the ring. Okay.
How different is oil paints in transparency between enamel?
Almost the same transparencies. You can achieve more or less the same. The difference is that the oil is more difficult to blend it because you can remove more material with your brush and you must be more careful. And the enamel is more easy to blend it. Don't worry too much for that. If someone prefers to use oils because any reason, it's not a problem, so don't worry. The most important, just finish the model and paint it. So don't put excuses. No, because Mig told me that the oil. And... No. Just finish the model, man. That I know you, I know. What I want to explain you that today I was a bit disappointed with a guy here. I don't want to say his name. But he's around here. Okay, I was disappointed with him because it's very important for the modelers to share the works with other people. Doesn't matter if it's in a model show or not. But it's very important because we can receive a lot of information from other people. Especially if we cannot go to a model show or something like that, we must share our models through internet, through photos. Because we can show our models to a guy from Greece or Japan, and maybe that guy can help us in something. But if we want to share our models, it's very important to improve the photos. We cannot expect a good feedback from anyone with a bad photo. And you have no excuses today. You cannot say, no, it's because my camera. No, because everybody has good cameras. No, maybe you expected a nice guy talking here about modeling, but no, I will be very strictly with you guys. Or if you don't want to hear that, go out. So. But we are here to improve.
What type of background do you...
The cheaper one.
No,
the
do
cheap.
you use blue or white?
No, a white one could be always nice. Yeah, but only you have a good blue one, use it. If not, it's better white.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you think any oil color is better than the other? If you compare, such as Abteilung?
Of course, there are differences between oils, like there are differences between thinners. Winsor & Newton, for example, is a very good one. It's international.
Yes.
You can find in every places, and they offer a high quality.
Which one?
Winsor & Newton. It's a very popular brand that is coming from England, and everybody knows it. Easy to find in any art store, for example.
Have you heard about the Schminke?
What?
Schminke? No. German one.
No. This is the problem of the products. That we...
Falta una parte.
Okay.
Esto de aquí. Está sin limpiar.
Sí, pero bueno, ahora continúo un poquito.
You told us yesterday she controls some things, yes?
She controls everything. She now is controlling your lives forever.
Behind every successful man.
Okay.
And you always have the last word at home? Like every man?
What?
You have the last word at home as every man?
Last word? What is that? I haven't. Last word in my home.
Darling. That's the last word from man.
No, she is who controls absolutely everything. Everything.
You say yes, darling. Whatever she says, you say yes, darling.
Yes, sir. No, I said yes, sir. Okay, let's make another round.
I'm the boss in my own house. I'm even allowed to tell others about it.
Because you are alone. Or you are the boss. Oh man.
So true.
We are very bad guys, making jokes with the girls and the wives.
You'll sleep in the lounge tonight.
Just in the street, especially here. Okay. Here I will make a little contrast with the plate.
Are you still using oil colors now, or is it?
No, it's again enamels. It's much better for me. I use just a little of oil just to show you that you can use it.
And you mix with the older, less thinner.
What?
You mix with the older, less thinner.
With the oils less thin?
Older, less thinner.
Yes, odorless.
Yeah.
Always odorless because it's softer. As you can see, I am trying to leave clean of rust the thickness of the plate.
If you apply now the NML and then use other effects with NML tomorrow, will this affect the previous layer?
No.
issue?
No.
So it will, cure out good enough to
Yes.
use the next layer.
Maybe you use oil, you will find the problem that you can remove what you made the previous day. With enamels, I think that tomorrow, after 12 hours more or less, you can stay working over it without any problem. Even now, if I try to work something over, if I work fast, it will not affect to the previous layer that I made a few minutes ago. If I work fast.
I think it's very interesting how you place the weathering here, as it actually in some way works as a modulation. It looks as a little bit modulation, even though it isn't in placing the weathering.
But yes, could be a kind of concept of modulation, but it's not the same. But it's true that to work in that way, trying to create contrast, is how the modulation is based. The modulation, in fact, is to create artificial contrast in different places that doesn't follow the logic of the light, by the way. The modulation doesn't follow the logic. That is something that the people get confused. The people think, okay, the modulation is that you put the light over and it's a kind of zenithal illumination. No, it's totally different. In fact, right now we are preparing a book in AMO about the different kind of illuminations that will be ready very soon, and we treat all kind of illumination, not only illumination, yes, not only the modulation, but much others, like for example the spotlight. What happens if we project a spotlight over a model, and we represent that with paint? That is something really difficult, no?
That's very interesting.
Well, our turret is getting a nice aspect. See what happened here. Remember that we used a light tone in contrast with a darker one, so you can see how it can be easy and funny to work and fun to work with those effects. Okay, let's go to the other side a bit more, and we will move forward to another step. Here we will do a little more. Of course, it's more difficult to work for the camera than stay working at home, because sometimes I need to put the model in uncomfortable positions. But if you do that in your home, you will find much more easy to do. We can stay for hours just working in that way with the rust tones, for hours.
Can I ask you a question? How do you know when to stop?
When? Checking the...
This
checking.
is all good and it looks great.
Yes.
It looks ready or not
Oh,
ready.
okay.
How do you know when to stop?
You need to base your model in a real photo. And then the photo will tell you when to stop. Because you must copy what you see in the photo. If you see here that there are a kind of thing, very strange, okay, do it. But don't do more than you see in the photo. So this is why very important to find real reference. Very important, trust me. What I am teaching you is just how to use the tool, the technique. But of course you need to know what to repair in your car. If you don't know, okay, this is a problem of this part of the engine or the other, doesn't matter if you have all tools in your box.
Then your partner goes out to the garage and tells you to stop.
So do you do all your models from photos?
I tried, especially if I am making something complicated like burn-out vehicles or something like that. I try to find photos in color. For example, if I make a Tiger 1 or Panzer IV and I cannot find a nice color photo because it's from the Second World War, I try to take as reference a T-55 in Iraq because they get burned and rusted and everything in the same way that in the Second World War. So if you cannot find the exactly example for your model, try to find something similar. If you haven't something in a tank, try to see a excavator or a truck in a construction area. Take some photos and apply in your model.
These four examples, have you made them out of any photos, or is it more?
No, that one, the type 69, I based that model in around 10 different photos of the same vehicle. Okay. And I took from each one what was the most interesting for me. I like that, I will put in my model. I like these two, I will put. So it's a kind of combination of different photos.
For showing
different effects.
A broad spectrum.
Exactly.
Of what you like
exactly.
to put forward.
And make it more and more interesting.
Yeah.
Also, because the people is not idiot. The spectators who go to a model show are not idiots. The people enjoy more something full of effects than something plain. Someone told me, no, because I like to make modern tanks clean and in the garage. Okay, this is realistic, yes, but boring. It's boring. Okay, do you have fun? Good for you, but for the rest of the people will be boring even if it's very realistic.
Precis.
Yeah, but if you look at old magazines from the 70s and 80s, you can see a totally different styles from what was accepted at that time to what is accepted today. I think it is more open today. It's much more fun of the different styles.
Yes, I think that is more fun today.
Mig, a place where you easily can find burnt out metal things are in the scrapyard, actually.
Yes.
From car accident, well, you shouldn't.
Of course.
But you can see a lot of burnt out cars, and you can see how the process of fire has started or ended.
Yeah, but also we must be careful because, for example, the cars have very thin plates of metal, and those parts of metal work in a different way when they get burned out. So we must keep in mind that factor if we are making a tank. Okay, coming back to the work. That this is my work. Now, as you can see, while we were talking, I was painting again more chipping. This time is not mapping, this time is chipping, and I try to make something really small. Those small chips are like remains of the paint. Okay?
And you do it with acrylic paint, right?
Acrylic, yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier.
Interesting is that you switch from enamel to acrylic pretty fast, and don't forget that it will impact the enamel. So enamel is already kind of ready to be covered with acrylic.
Yes, this is why I use it in enamel and not oil. This is another reason.
Mm-hmm.
Here. And right now we will start making the smoke. That is will be the last stage.
Mig, how long will this seminar last? Is it like at 2 o'clock or?
What is now? What time is now?
Menos cuarto. No, y cuarto.
Las dos.
La 1:15.
Ah. Just I need a little more.
We have time to 2:30. 2:30, and if Mig is ready before, we can have a Q&A session about whitewash and my favorite subject, mud. So it's free when Mig decides, but we have up to 2:30.
Yes, but first let's go to finish this. Very quick. As you can see, I am trying to make the tiled things, the tiled chipping around some parts. to make it more attractive.
Is that the base color?
No, this is a lighter color, more lighter than the base color, to create more contrast.
Because we will cover this later with another layer of enamel wash.
Yes, I will apply just the last one and pigments, so it will change a little.
But it represents remnants of the old original paint.
Exactly, exactly. Well, just a little. We can stay working here also for more time, but let's go for the next step. The smoke. Okay, well, this is just to make more chipping or less, but it's not important. Okay, smoke. Any cigarette? For the smoke this time I will use Humbrol. That those colors are still absolutely wonderful, and they work very well. They modify the formula many times, and right now the Humbrol is an excellent paint, and I will use that to make the smoke in combination with the heavy chipping. With the heavy chipping fluid. Okay. Why I use the heavy and not the scratches effects, that is a little softer? Because that will provocate bigger drops of product, and I will create more random effects with the black color. So first I will apply with the airbrush this product, and second with the airbrush I will apply the Humbrol. Okay? So let's see what happens. We have our turret.
When you apply the chipping fluids, is it better if it's still wet or if it dries, or can you use a combination?
The surface?
Yes.
No, the surface must be dry.
So the chipping fluid must be dry before you...
Okay. Now I understand you. First, the surface, if the surface is satin or matte, can change completely the effects of the chipping fluid. If it is satin, we will achieve bigger chipping. If the surface is matte, the chipping will be smaller and more difficult to control. Then we apply the chipping. We can apply the heavy chipping fluid or the scratches effects. Both are more or less similar. One is softer and the other stronger. And the heavy one will provocate bigger effects. Here I have an example. As soon as we apply the chipping fluid, we must let dry just the minimum time to see it dry to the eye, okay? And then we apply the color that will be over the chipping fluid. After we apply the color, we will start chipping immediately. So don't go to take a beer or go to see a movie in the television. No, do everything at once. Here I made an example a long time ago where here I used a heavy chipping fluid and in the other side scratches effects. If we want to make a operative tank in combat or something standard, we can use the scratches effects, and if we want to make something rusty, very damaged, we can use the heavy one. Just to show you the difference. In that case, I will use the heavy one to make the burnout effects. So let's go to see what happened and how to work. We put directly in the airbrush. We don't need to dilute with anything, but if we want, we can dilute with water. It's water soluble. Soluble. Oh. I would like to stay more here with you to learn to improve my English.
I think that would improve greatly if you had an Irish accent.
Nobody will understand me in the world if I learn Irish accent. Okay. How to apply? Like any other product. Just we paint the surface. That's all. Now in the top. And in the other side. Okay. If you apply more quantity of product, we will make bigger chipping areas, and if you apply less quantity, so you must try to control the quantity according what you want to do. As you can see, it dry very fast. I recommend you to let dry with a natural temperature. Don't use a high dryer or something like that. Just leave dry with your temperature. Stay in front all time, and as soon as it is dry, go for the other color. I will apply a little more here. Remember that you can use that technique for any purpose, not only for burn out areas. You can use for the normal chipping, for example. In that case, I use the chipping fluid, the scratches effects, to make those effects. First I painted in green color, and second I apply the scratches effects, and finally I painted the sand color. Or also in the fender. And as you can see, you can achieve very realistic effects. But of course you must decide where to create the chipping. If I start making the chipping in that area too, the final look will be very ugly. So the chipping fluid helps you, but you must decide where to do the effect. In that case, I am making only in that area, and I don't touch that area to make more realistic and more attractive.
So the heavy for bigger areas and the chipping fluid for smaller areas.
The chipping fluid you can use for both smaller or bigger.
Yeah, but the heavy.
The heavy, if you want bigger size of chipping, more chaotic and bigger, then use the heavy one. If you want to do something very damaged, for example, rusty vehicles, or very damaged ones, very old. Or for example, if we are painting a house and we need to paint the doors or the fences of the house, we can use the chipping fluid also to do realistic things, no? So not only for tanks, for everything. Okay, it is drying. Still a little fresh in some areas, as you can see. The good thing of that product is that, as you can see here, where is the product is still fresh, looks like very thick, okay? Looks like gelatin. But when it is dry, will be totally flat, like the alcohol. When the alcohol evaporates, no remains of the product still in the surface, no? Because it's very thin. Haven't body, is what we say in art. When a product evaporates and is totally flat, the product haven't body. Well, more or less, it's getting dry, so I can go to prepare the black color. The black hamburol will provide us a very flat, very matte look, which is very important to make the smoke effects.
If Frank has shaken it well, though.
Yes, I hope.
Which thinner do you use for Humbrol?
Odorless,
Odorless.
again.
Is it any difference with old Humbrol, if you have old bottles of it or the new ones?
The older ones, the very old ones, were much thicker about the grain of the color. They changed some years ago, and they started making the colors with a new label that's a new formula, or superfine Humbrol, I think. Yes, and those was fantastic. They improved a lot. Especially if you want to paint the camouflage and things like that, I recommend you to use the new ones, the superfine Humbrol.
And this one is a new one?
I think that is old. Looks old. Because unfortunately, where I am living, I haven't shops close to me. It's impossible to buy new products. This is why I produce my own paint, because I haven't.
That's how you fix it.
Yes. So, no, everything have an explanation in the life. Okay, where is the
My
cap?
experience, if you have very old Humbrol tins at home, before the production went to China, they are superior to anything.
Yes, it's true that they moved to China or they do something strange.
There's some tins at home that are around 40 or 45 years old, and they're still like new when you open them.
Now, Humbrol is a very good enamel paint. Very good one. Okay, let's go to paint in black color. I am painting very thin. Don't try to cover at once. I am letting dry. I will come back to that area later, but now I continue in the roof. Oops. A little less. Okay. And one more time, remember to be random. And the most interesting thing is that even if Humbrol is enamel, the chipping fluid is water-based. Now we will make the chipping removing the Humbrol color with water.
Amazing.
If you do the Tom, should we wait for half an hour, or we can do it after 5 minutes?
No, I recommend you to do immediately after you paint it. Yes.
Okay.
In that case, I recommend you to stay over your model all time. It's a very delicate process. It's easy to do, but you must do immediately after it is dry.
What's the number of the Hambro paint? Is it 33?
Yes.
33,
Yeah.
the black one, yes. Okay, more or less is done. Some people just leave his model in that stage, but it's not nice because the black areas are very regular and ugly. And remember what I told you, that the good thing of all of this, especially you have seen that I diluted the ham roll with a lot of thinner just to create transparencies. And you can see here remains of the camouflage. And now when I will start working, you will see what happened. This one is a bit smaller and could be very appropriate for that. I will use just tap water and let's go to work. Okay, we humidify the surface very soft, like when you are touching a gel, very slowly, all surface. And now repeat. Can you see? The paint came off very quick. Yeah, so we must control the quantity that we must remove. We can work different areas.
So the texture is made by the chipping fluid,
Exactly.
not by the paint.
Exactly. This is why I used the heavy one. Remember that when I painted with the chipping fluid, the surface was like a many small drops. Look what interesting effects.
So, for example, if you want to make a car which has been out in the nature for a long time and you want to make the paint sort of peel off,
This is different.
put a thicker layer of
Yes, if you want to paint a car, supposed to be rusted, and the color that remains over the surface will be very discolored. So the first step is to paint the whole car, the whole body, in rusty tones. Use like intermediate and dark tones in the whole surface, very matte. Second, apply the chipping fluid, the heavy one, in the whole surface. Paint the color that's supposed to be faded. So, for example, if your car was green, the color that you must paint must be very light green. Paint the whole surface with your new color, but not covering the whole surface. Leave it a little transparent, a little softer. It's very important. If you apply a thicker layer of paint, you will achieve bigger chipping and out of control. If you apply a subtle surface, you will achieve different intensities of chipping. So you can paint, for example, try to imagine a Chevy, a Chevrolet, no, with a typical shape. So paint the whole surface in rust colors, the chipping fluid, and the green color. Example, try to put more intensity in the center of the roof, for example, and less paint in the edge of the roof.
fade away.
Yes, so when you will start cleaning with your brush, you will achieve different intensities and much more effects.
So if you put too much paint on the chipping fluid, the paint might
Kind of in an uncontrolled way.
the paint might how do you say No,
Yeah,
no,
like
no,
in
no.
big blobs.
I've also noticed this with Vallejo, because it's more satin. And then I used Tamiya, which is full matte. Then it chipped off much finer, like this one.
No, it's not about the it's not about the satin or matte. It's about the structure of the paints. For example, Vallejo paints are they have acrylic resin agglutinant which make very elastic. It's like something plastic, and if you peel in one side, you will remove almost everything. This is why another paints are more useful in some cases. For example, the Tamiya or Humbrol could be more interesting. Those ones is closer to the live color ones that pale or chip a little better than Vallejo. Vallejo maybe is the worst and the most dangerous one for the chipping, because the acrylic resin base. So anyway, what I recommend you is just make a test in an all plastic kit and be sure that it will work as you want.
What I meant was, if you put a too thick layer on the chipping fluid, you might not get through the paint when you want to chip off.
You will throw it, but you will need more effort, and maybe you can damage the base color. So I recommend you much better to do in 2 stages. Make the whole process in 2 stages. Do one time, apply varnish, and repeat the whole process if you want more original color. No, so you can make multi layers, but always applying varnish between one and the next one. Don't forget it. Yes, it's very important. Well, can you see, no, how the effects appear in a very random way? It's very, very nice. You can do very interesting effects, and the people will have no idea how you made that.
It's magic.
Yeah, something like magic. And because now we are working with water, we are not affecting to the rust effects that we made before with enamels. Or oil. Eh? Do you like how it's going?
Yes, beautiful.
It's so simple.
And simple. And simple. This is the point. That everybody can do it without any problem. So as you can see, this is the evidence that it's not necessary to be an artist to do something attractive. Everybody can do at home, just knowing the right steps and knowing the right products to do it. Remember, like when you touch a gel, this is very important, or you will damage the surface very fast. You think that maybe everything that I say is like a kind of joke, but it's true. If you remember those advices, you will know how to work in the surface.
So you're both an artist and an illusionist.
And a magicer.
Yeah, wait. Okay. Our turret is more or less done. As you can see, both sides are totally different. We can accelerate the process with the high dryer right now, but you can see that our effects are good enough, and now we can continue working the turret with small touches of rust. And that will be just the last one because we have no time. So I will accelerate with the high dryer. Now it's time to use that.
So there's no need to put varnishes between these layers.
Yes, now could be a good moment to apply matte varnish. Now, not after the pigments, but before the pigments.
Are we going to do that now?
Eh?
Are we going to do that now?
With the pigments? Yeah, just a little. No, I will not apply varnish because no time. Eh? But I recommend you.
What kind of varnish would you use?
Acrylic one, any acrylic varnish. In that case, matte varnish. Eh?
What's your personal preference?
I have mine own. So if you ask me which one I prefer, I use the one that I produce.
Okay, you
because
also, I was not aware.
but any other brands, maybe the one from Life Color could be also interesting to use and works very well. It's a good option. I don't recommend you the enamel varnishes because those are difficult to work with them. If you don't dilute correctly or the pressure is not good, you can achieve a very ugly look with the enamel varnishes. So another good option, but not for matte, because Tamiya haven't a matte varnish, only the X22. The X22, if you want to for something satin, is very good one, the Tamiya one, but always mix it with lacquer thinner. Eh?
I think Tamiya has released the matte varnish now.
Ah, finally!
They actually have it.
Oh my God! Finally! Good.
Through, and then I used Tamiya X22.
Yeah, the Tamiya S22 is very good one. And I was expecting for a matte varnish version. Okay, just a couple of touches of pigments, just to bring a bit life and to give a more matte look to our model. I will take a new brush. Must be very dry. Okay, that one. Okay, where to apply pigments? For example, in areas that we want to contrast for any reason or to make softer. For example, I am using a dark rust, medium rust, and I want to make softer that areas. We use that just like final touches, don't forget it. And now with the light wand, not in every places. For example, many people always ask me, but how do you fix the pigments in the surface? If you touch it, you will remove it. And I say, yes, of course. If you touch it, you will remove it with your fingers, especially after to eat a sauce or a piece of pork or something like that. If you touch it, you will remove it. But I say, okay, the modeling is static. You must leave in a table and don't touch it again. Just use a wooden base to have your model and don't touch it anymore. It's not a toy, it's not for play. So why do you want to touch the turret? Why? I have painted models with pigments, especially a long time ago when I used a lot of pigments, that still with the same pigments over the surface, and I never used any kind of fixer. The secret or the key is that the surface must be always matte if you want to fix the pigments in the surface. Because the matte surfaces is like a texture that is very rough, and the pigment grains stay in those in those holes, no, in that surface, while the satin or glossy surface is totally flat, like a mirror, no? So the pigment cannot stay in any place. So the texture, because having texture. So this is why the secret is to have a very matte surface. This is why I told you, now is a good time to apply the varnish, the matte varnish, and second, apply the pigments. Of course, with your finger, we can remove it, but also the finger can be used like a tool to use the excess of rust. The other side. Just like a small touches. Don't add too much pigments, or you will destroy the previous work. Finally, if I have this is a hair color that I will use to make dust effects in another areas. The dust must be always an accessory for the rust areas. For example, here. Okay. Well, this is more or less what we can do in a burnout subject. Of course, we can continue working, doing much more effects, working more with pigments, but because we having more time, I think that could be a good example about how to do something attractive in short time. This can be applied, remember, to all kind of subjects, and don't forget that the steps that you must follow is the most important. What you must do first, what must be second. If you follow the right steps, the right path, you will have no problems painting your model. Anyway, I hope you like it. I hope it could be useful for you, like inspiration to do something in your home. Remember to test first, always in an all plastic kit. Especially when you are experimenting with different products. Of course, now it's not necessary to experiment in your home because now you know the process, especially the quantities, the moment that you must apply, how much time do you need to let dry each product. But in any case, always experiment in your home. And don't be afraid trying to mix different colors from different brands, from different materials. And you will find the modeling much more exciting than just to do always the same in each of your model. Anyway, thank you very much to all of you. It was a pleasure for me to stay in that country, and I hope we can meet again. Next time that I meet you, I hope to see your models also, and especially try to make good photos, share in Facebook or in any place for the rest of the people, because the rest of the people in other parts of the world want to know what is happening here. The people want to see what the people from Sweden is doing. So remember what I told you about the photos, and thank you very much from my heart to stay here with me during so long time, during so many hours. And that's all. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you. Thank you. If someone have any question while I am cleaning.